Hey there everybody, Eric from Outer Limitless coming at you today with another video. Now I'm coming here today to tell you I was wrong. I admit it, I was wrong because, well, I stated that the Nitecore EDC33 was the best pocket flashlight, EDC flashlight to date, ever, trumping every single other flashlight on the market, everyone I've ever tested, everyone you could possibly get your hands on. I know it's a bold statement, and I was wrong, because it's the Nitecore EDC35, which is, in my opinion, the best ever flashlight, EDC flashlight. Of course, very, very similar. And at the time, the EDC33 was the flashlight. That was the new flashlight. They have since come out with the EDC35, which in my opinion is the superior flashlight for many reasons. So what we're going to do today, we're going to kind of revisit the EDC33 just a little bit so you can hear why I made my bold statement. Then we're going to talk to you about the EDC35, how they compare, how they contrast, and why for me the EDC35 is the one that you want to get your hands on, the one that should live in your pocket, and the one that, in my opinion, is the leader in the EDC flashlight market. And so with that said, I have a whole bunch to do and a whole bunch to share with you. And if you're interested in seeing a little bit more about what I'm about to get into, do me a favor, stay tuned. Now, before we get too far, I would like to say thank you very much to the people at Nitecore who did provide these for review. And I'd also like to let you know that I have a gear giveaway. One of you watching this video today will have the chance to win yourself an EDC35. So there's only one way to take advantage of that. You have to be a member in my Patreon. But if you join my Patreon, you will have the chance to win yourself an EDC35. So take a look at the description box below where you can get all of the details. And so as we kick this off, you have to revisit the fact that the EDC33 video that I was filming came on the heels of the EDC27, which could have been the leader, in my opinion, except for the fact that, well, it has the very annoying and, in my opinion, dangerous electronic lockout mechanism, which ultimately led to me falsely trusting it and melting my flashlight and my pocket and my pants. Now, Nitecore did try to make an adjustment to this, but at the time, my recommendation was to outfit this with a mechanical lockout. And when it comes to the EDC33, that's exactly what they did. They introduced literally the mechanical lockout, which is so quick and easy, tactile, easy to get on, no problem, but it's reliable. It is literally something that you physically have to switch in order for the light to be functional. So if you truly and desperately want to lock out your flashlight, in my opinion, the mechanical lockout is absolutely the way to go. Never mind the fact that this has a beautiful form factor. But at this time, Nitecore, always upping the ante, well, they've now come out with the EDC35. In my opinion, the superior of the two flashlights. And as we hold these side by side, you can see, generally speaking, almost the exact same flashlight with some significant differences. Now, the form factor, very much the same. And I guess what I would say, sort of flashlight type and style and the general concept is pretty much the same, but it's the subtleties that change, and more than anything else, it's really the battery, the powerhouse of the flashlight that has changed, taking you from the 18650 lithium-ion platform to the 21700 lithium-ion platform. Now, both of these are fantastic, and you could definitely make the claim that the 33 is more pocketable. I will give you that, but not really, because I have always said, and just my personal preference, that the 21700 for the additional performance trumps the 18650 every single time. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. But as we give these a rundown, the 33 on the left and the 35 on the right, let's just talk through the differences. Now, basically between the two, I already mentioned the 33 having the 18650, the 35 having that 21700. When it gets to the actual LED, The LED is also different. So on the 33, you have the UHI 20 Max LED, and then on the 35, you have the UHI 40 Max LED. So they do change the LED in these particular flashlights. Maximum lumen output on the 33, 4,000 lumens, upping the ante by 1,000 for the 35, so going up to 5,000 lumens on the EDC35. 492 yards of throw on the 33, which translates to 40,505 candela versus 601 yards of throw, or 62,500 candela on the 35. Now, the form factor, this is where people might really start to get into the pocketability. So in terms of the diameter of the head, you're looking at a 1-inch standard diameter for the 18650 platform on the 33, and then a 1.25-inch diameter maximum at the head on the 35. So you could make the claim that the 33 is going to be more pocketable, but to me, I don't mind the difference in the diameter. That's not a big deal. And then in terms of the length, okay, you might really say that the 33 is more pocketable at 4.55 inches of overall length versus 4.89 inches of length on the 35. Again, to me, that doesn't necessarily matter. And finally, you could talk about the weight difference being 4.48 ounces on the 33 versus 6.28 ounces on the 35. But again, in my opinion, the performance of the 35 will prevail. The runtime, the beam, the distance, the lumen output, and just the fact that for a slightly larger form factor, you're actually not really gaining all that much in terms of weight or size. The other thing that you'll notice is just some general subtleties. So you get a little more clip length out of the 35. Which I kind of like that. If you look, the actual clip, and we're going to kind of match up the tails here, the actual clip is a little bit longer. So this sticks equally deep into your pocket. So that's a good thing. When you look at the body, generally the same knurling all the way around, but the head design is a little bit different, slightly different details, and especially for the fact that the head on the 35, again, is larger, but it's the bezel on the front that really does start to differentiate. The smooth bezel on the 33 versus that crenulated bezel that you see on the 35. Both of the lenses on the inside have an orange peel reflector, and generally speaking, again, very similar in overall form factor. Now, there are a couple of additional accessories that do come with both of them. They both come with an interesting sort of lanyard. Now, I have rocked the lanyard, but in the meantime, I just kind of decided to take it off. I love this lanyard. It's actually awesome multi-purpose. You could use this for a number of different things, and I love that it has that little clip. Really cool, but the 35 came with an amazing pouch. This pouch sheath is phenomenal. The flashlight fits in there perfect. You can run it either bezel up or bezel down, and it has a beautiful magnetic enclosure, which works very well. Simple to get this on your belt. You can either run it through a belt loop in the back here, so you can see that's actually fully enveloped there, or you can leverage the Velcro. Very, very simple. And again, as I mentioned, you can run the flashlight either direction. So depending on what you want to do, it will go either way. So that's very nice. I have found this to be extremely effective, and I've actually pretty much removed the flashlight from my pocket altogether. So if you get to the point where you're leveraging the sheath, well, kind of why does it matter that you have the larger battery, slightly larger diameter, and a little more weight? It becomes a moot point. So to me, again, performance prevails. But what about those beam shots? Well, let's take a look at it in a little bit of detail. Generally speaking, in terms of the warmth of the beam, pretty similar, but the EDC33 on the left, a little more yellow, slightly warmer. The EDC35 on the right, slightly cooler, a little more white. Now, I'm not going to go into complete detail here, but again, this is on the lowest mode. Quick little bump here. So now we're moving up in terms of the modes, and you can see both of these having, a fairly substantial hot spot in the middle, and then ultimately you can see that they do have that nice flood. Pretty similar in terms of the beam tightness, a little bit different, but we'll try to keep it a little bit apples and apples here, trying to get these at about the same height. You can see that the actual sort of, diameter roughly about the same. Another bump here. And now they look to be about the same color temperature. Not getting too bent out of shape that it's a little warmer on the EDC33. Bumping up a mode here. Getting some nice output. Really starting to heat up. Now in terms of the heat on the flashlight, not feeling it too much yet. Going back to those lowest modes. Now both of these having the half press. So as we half press here, that's going to be really at this point leaning in, starting to get into those turbo modes. Full deep press here. That's going to be the lumen shield mode. And now these are both starting to really heat up. But they perform literally exactly the same. And you can see, and it's going to be subtle inside, but you can start to see the performance difference between the EDC 33 and 35. It's really the overall brightness and the distance outside where these are going to start to differentiate themselves. I would say most tasks in close proximity are going to be very similar output, similar overall performance. You're not going to get too much. It's at distance where this will start to differentiate. So now here for some beam shots outside, you can see on the left hand side I have the EDC33, on the right hand side the EDC35. Now I am beaming both of these off into the distance. You're not going to see anything until I start to light up the additional mode. So here on the lowest mode, little bump on the left hand side, the EDC33. Now I'm going to flash the EDC35. Ironically, the EDC33 does look a little bit brighter right away, but as we continue to work through the different modes, it will start to differentiate itself. On the left-hand side, the EDC33. On the right, the EDC35. You can see the beam pattern wider on the 35. Another bump here. Left-hand side, EDC33. Right-hand side, EDC35. So EDC33 on the left. Here's the 35. The two side by side. It's a little bit of a tighter beam pattern, maybe, on the 33, but they are very similar. Long press here on the left-hand side. That's the 33. Right-hand side, the 35. So that's that long press right in the middle. So that's the full throw on the 33 on the left and the 35. 33, 35. 33 on the left, 35 on the right. Again, you can see it's definitely a larger beam pattern on the 35. With these in the high modes, again, slightly different angle. 33 on the left, 35 on the right. That's the 33. 35. 33. 35. Now, leaning on the button, these are going to be those turbo modes. So 33 on the left, 35 on the right. And then long pressing, this is the lumen shield. 35, 33, 35, 33. Again, very similar, but the run times will prevail, and it's technically more light coming out of the 35. And so now back from the field use with the EDC33 and the EDC35. So real quick, one of the main considerations, and after the field use, you could see these were very similar. A little bit of difference in terms of the beam pattern, little bit of difference in terms of the color, but really for me, it comes down essentially to the runtime. I think that's where you really start to differentiate these. So when it comes to the ultra low mode, EDC33, 63 hours, EDC35, 90 hours. When you get into that low mode, so the low mode, 31 hours for the 33, 40 hours for the 35. The mid, 6 hours, 58 minutes on the 33, 9 hours and 15 minutes on the 35. The high mode really starting to kick it up, 2 hours and 31 minutes for the 33, 4 hours and 45 minutes for the 35. Now, neither of them having reported when you get into that searchlight, and neither of them having reported times when you get into the lumen shield. But both of these just absolutely blasting, awesome lights, fantastic, great quality, awesome features, and in my opinion, either way, you can't go wrong. But I was wrong when I said the EDC33 was the best EDC light out there. I'm going with the EDC35 for the performance, the battery life, the overall size, and I don't mind that it's a little bit bigger. So, to all of you, thank you so much for following along. Don't forget, I have a giveaway, so if you like this video, look in the description box below, join my Patreon, and enter to win yourself an EDC35. To the people at Nitecore, thank you so much for providing this for review. And for the rest of you, if you like this content, do me a favor and take a look at my Outer Limitless 2 channel, which is more on the tactical and firearm side of things. At this point, that channel is growing quickly. I have a ton of videos up there. So if you like what you see here on Outer Limitless, do me a favor and check me out on Outer Limitless 2. So all right, guys, thanks for stopping by. I hope you like what you saw. I hope you found it a little bit informative. If you like what you saw, please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, thanks for stopping by. Take care now. I'll see you soon.